Welcome to the first episode of the Resisting Beta podcast. My name is Andrew Bontz, and I will be your host in this journey. But I wanted to share a little bit about the story behind Resisting Beta and dive into kind of our mission. So I am on a mission to cut male suicide in half by 2032 by connecting you to the top experts in physical, mental, and spiritual health to help you become the best version of yourself. But where did the journey start? So there I was in September of 2019. It's September 28th, actually. I felt lost. I was scared. I was hopeless and alone in a marriage where I couldn't be my authentic self. I was depressed. I was overweight. I remember thinking the thoughts of when will this pain and sadness go away? I was stuck between bouts of anger and emotional crankiness and sobbing, and I didn't know how I would manage each moment. And I couldn't get through it. I would drown myself in alcohol and porn and all of these things. And I was stuck in this mindset that it was all my ex-wife's fault. I mean, we had recently legally separated. And it was a mutual decision, but I wanted to work on it. I wanted to try to fix it because I like fixing things. And I had a conversation with my friend Zach at the time. And he told me, he's like, you're stuck in the victim mindset. You're stuck blaming her for all of the situation that you're in right now. And if you keep doing that, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be stuck there. You're going to be mad, and you're not going to be able to heal. And I didn't like what he had to say. I didn't like it at all. But he was right. He was right. And then as I started to look inward and take advantage of my self-awareness, I was like, I have been stuck in this mindset for 10 years. And it cost me everything. I had a business that it cost me. It cost me being the best version of myself. It cost me being a good dad. As good a dad as I could have been. I let people walk all over me. I couldn't make decisions. I was weak and chubby and 50 pounds overweight. I would be the personal punching bag for anybody around me. I was insecure. I wasn't comfortable just being my authentic self around people. I led a pretty passive life, with watching Netflix and playing video games all the time and drinking, every weekend and being hungover pretty much the whole weekend and weekdays some days. And it was all her fault. And then suddenly I realized that, okay, I remember I was listening to a book called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. And that had a huge impact on me, on owning my life. I am responsible for everything. Because if I don't take that stance, I can't change anything. And I started documenting my journey after divorce on TikTok. After I started to feel a little bit of momentum, gain some energy towards getting away from this victim mindset. And it changed everything. And it was a book that I had listened to, a few books actually. There was one by Dr. Robert Glover called No More Mr. Nice Guy. He pointed out all this laundry list of tendencies of the nice guy and how being a nice guy is much different than being a kind man. And from that book, I came up with this concept of the beta mindset and the beta energy that was inside of me and the alpha energy that I wanted to have inside of me. And I studied hundreds of hours of books and podcasts and trying to refine myself to embrace my inner alpha energy. And I started creating definitions for myself to where, okay, what is the alpha Andrew and who is the beta Andrew? I need to resist the beta man that had been kind of honed over time from like childhood trauma and experiences and just my own lack of self-confidence and a laundry list of things that would take me an hour to probably go through and unpack here, but I'm not going to do that. And embracing kind of an alpha mindset. I'll go over kind of like the alpha components that I found out from the resisting beta journey. So it was boldness. It was taking action. So this podcast is one of those things of me taking action towards something that scared me, that I wanted to accomplish and make a difference. And leadership and being humble, listening, growing, adapting, having compassion, all of these things that as a man we need to hone. Another one, being unapologetically myself. This was one of the ones that was scary because, especially that was one of the ones when I looked at the TikTok journey, that being authentically myself, kind of goofy and a little bit silly and inappropriate at times. Because I was scared of judgment. I was scared of people coming at me. And this podcast too, being not perfect and having people criticize me, and that can just make me kind of put a shell around myself and protect myself from criticism, right? And all of those things are huge barriers if you don't build a system to get over them and have the ability to kind of live every single day being uncomfortable. And that's where I would like to take you, gentlemen. I want to take you in places that you're uncomfortable, that you need to grow, that you need to adapt. I want to help you be your authentic self by sharing stories that are real about myself and about the guests that I bring on this podcast. And I'm excited for that. But all of that doesn't really mean a lot without a mission. My mission is to cut male suicide in half by 2032 by helping you be a better leader, encouraging you and myself too, us together being better men, so we can lead our communities, lead our families, and being a father not only to our own kids, but to a community. Because I believe by having that mindset, that mentality, we can create a ripple effect that can change the world. And if you may not be struggling with mental health right now, but I bet you know somebody who is just suffering in silence. He needs you. He needs you to be his brother, not just his friend, but his brother. And what inspired this journey? So on my birthday, 2020, I had a friend named Troy who committed suicide. And I myself had struggled with mental health most of my life and had considered suicide early in my 20s, and thankfully never proceeded beyond words. But everyone around him was so floored and surprised because he was like the life of the party, always a guy who's kind and funny and seemed like he was enjoying his life. And then we were all at his memorial, and everyone had the same thing to say. It's like, I can't believe, I wish he would have just said something. And the saddest part of that story is Troy and I hadn't spoken in a decade because we had a falling out and we never came back together. And it's going to be one of my biggest regrets of not reaching out to him, Maybe if I would have started this podcast and sent this to him a year earlier, maybe he'd still be around. So I used that as motivation. That pain is motivation, and that regret as motivation to start this. Because I believe that we can make a difference. You and I, holding hands together, working on ourselves, working to become the best version of ourselves, so we can lead, so we can become, so we can grow, be a kind man, not a nice man. So we can build our confidence together. Be comfortable in your own skin. Be okay showing emotion. Have an amazing sex life. Living with compassion. And I know that if we work together and share this message out with the help of the guests that I will bring on and introduce to you, that we can change the world. And I'm excited for that. So let's go on this journey together and resist our inner beta energy and embrace our alpha energy and change the world. I can't wait.